Great, so we've got Storyboard working for now, and as promised, we're going to add the mines. And this should be a bit more interesting. Right, so what we're going to do is we need to add a new graphic. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to add the mine here. Just note, again, it's a graphic that's been added, so it needs to go in the create scene function, part of Storyboard. Let's change this. So we're going to have mine, we'll call it mine 1 for to start with. And so I'll just change all these names. Oh, that's not it. Okay, copy that and paste. It is actually going to be part of the physics engine because we need to detect collisions, so we are going to use it there. We need to include it in the screen group so Storyboard can take care of it. Okay, we're going to be adding, I think it's called mine PNG. Let's just double check. Somewhere there it is, mine.png. That's it. Okay. By the way, this graphic, I drew the rest of them. This one comes from, it's called lostgarden.com. Guy there does really good artwork, and it's royalty free. It's free and it's royalty free, so you can use it in your work, which is great. So it's called The Lost Garden. I'll double check that and just let you know. Yeah, that's correct. It's lostgarden.com. And it's run by a guy called Daniel Cook, who he made this graphic, and it's part of a sprite set. So he's got lots of really good sprite sets, and which you can use for free, and actually even use them in your game that you release. And this is part of it's called the Sinistar sprite set. Anyway, yeah, should check it out. And full credit to him for that graphic. So thank you. All right, let's see. Let's just see if we can get it on the screen to begin with. We want it to be static, actually. We don't want gravity to affect it. Let's see what we got. Okay, so yeah, we've got it sitting there. So that's great. Okay, now what we want to do though is we want to set it so it appears just like off screen. And okay, so at like 500 and at a Y position, well, okay, so let's just go back to the finished one. Let's just have a look, because there is a few things we've got to do here. Notice when these things come across the screen, so they're using a very similar setup, like across the x-axis on an enter frame, measuring their x position, just like we did with the background. So the good thing is a lot of the code we did for the background that you have seen already is going to be used with the mines, so that's great news. What we need to add mostly is the up and down movement, and to achieve that effect, there's a few ways to do it. But here, these are set up so they're on a sine curve, basically. Like each one's calculating its own sine curve each time it appears and is running on that sine curve. So we're going to set that up. That said, you don't need to know trigonometry. I mean, I could have in this video. I sort of had to decide whether to go and add that sort of stuff, or show the maths basically, but I decided not to, because you can go on and create a lot of awesome games without needing to know that much maths, and especially not, trigonometry or sine curve maths. So, sorry, I'm just going ahead and adding some setup here, because before we add the sine curve, let's just get it moving across the screen. So we're going to have something really similar to this scroll city function. So I'm going to call it move mines, because we're going to have a few of them. And in here, in the enter scene, we need to set up. I'm just going to come down to the bottom. We need to set up an enter frame event so that the mine can actually call the move mines function. So it's mine 1, and it's calling the function move mines, and that is mine 1. So before we get the up and down, let's just get it moving across the screen. So we don't need it to go out that far. I'm going to say like negative 50, because if it's just left the screen, and place it back to about 500. We added the speed here. This bit I typed and didn't explain. Math.random all it does is say choose a random number between these values. So it's going to choose a random number between 2 and 6. So mine's going to have a number, well, a speed value, just like our city objects did, either 1 or 2. It's going to be a bit more random, just to add a bit more variation to the game. Let's see if this is going to work. So here we go. Wait, that's the original. Let's open up our one. So here we go. Yep, great. Okay, no collision. Whoa. Okay, so they're interacting as physics bodies at the moment, which will we won't actually have that because we just have a collision. But you get to see there, you can, like, built into the physics engine straight away when these objects do interact with each other. Oops, I missed it. Let's see, it's coming back. So I missed it again. Anyway, we don't need to worry about that for now. Let's just get on with the job. Okay, so where are we? Great. It's going across, so we need to add the stuff quickly to make it go up and down. And I'm just going to type this out pretty quickly. If you understand some trig, great. If you don't, well, I mean, it's good to learn, but don't worry too much, I guess, on this part overall. Okay, one. So here, I suppose what the important part is that we're creating variables on the image almost. You can think of it like it's that bit is useful and you do often. So let me copy this. Okay, so like a nit y, amp, short for amplitude and angle, it just parts of the how it's going to run on the sine wave. Okay, just maybe like message me on YouTube if you want to know more about this part. I did have some fantastic animations and diagrams, but then decided I don't know, maybe we don't have time. Okay, so that's that bit. So it's not going to do anything. Like, in terms of looking at it, they're just variables on it. We haven't applied. We're not changing those variables on. They're on there, but they're not doing anything yet. So what we're going to do here is in the move mines function, we're going to add some extra, a few extra bits in here, because this is where we'll actually get that, that sort of sine movement. So all we need to do is say in this part where it's just moving itself along as well as moving itself to the left, we're going to say self. Your angle is going to be equal to your angle plus 0.1. So just adding. So and again, move mines, it's an interframe function. This is running 30 times a second, remember. So every 30 times a second, we're adding a little bit onto that angle value. And next up, we're going to also change this is where we actually change the height. And again, this bit I'm typing out, don't worry too much. Math.sine, we're feeding in the angle. Essentially, I mean, taking the like the sine of an angle, well, sine is equal to it's the opposite over the hypotenuse, the ratio of them. We don't need that. And let's just see if that's going to work. Anyway, I'm talking. Okay, let's see. It's not moving up and down quite yet. Why not? Let's have a look at the output window. And okay, so we got something line 79. Attempt to perform arithmetic on a nit y. Okay, so that needs to be just like these are self.angle, self.amp needs to be self.init y, because init y is declared on the actual mine1 variable. Let's see. Okay, we got it. It's going. Okay, it's moving along. Great. Okay, but we've only got one of them, so we need to fix that. A couple of other things we'll also do is, you might notice here, it just keeps running on the same pathway, which is not great. We want to mix that up a bit, and we can do that. If we just say in here, if we just reset all its like all those original values we set, so all this stuff. Okay, I'm going to copy those 6 lines, come down, and then in the first part, so this is where it resets itself. We're going to change these values. We're going to everywhere it says -1, we're going to need to change that to self. And sorry, the formatting here is not great. Okay, so copy, paste, paste. We don't actually want to reset init y. We'll just leave that out. Okay, paste, paste, and that should reset it a bit, I think. Let's try. Okay, so I started there. I think that was a bit different. It's definitely like it's on a tight wave or not, but it's always starting. It seems to be at the same height. Let's see if we can fix that. Yeah. So we'll just choose, and we got that twice. We always want it to be there, but let's choose a random y value between, say, on this screen, maybe 90 and 220. That would change if you had a different resolution size. Now it just means when it's resetting, or when it goes to reset, it's just going to pick a different height to appear at. That was kind of the same, but it should be a bit different. And so that's one of them going. In the next video, we'll just set up the next 2 and get the collisions happening.